All right, good day to you. My name is Fred Oakman. As always, with me today is Mr. Jake Peters. We are PS This Is Awesome. We are a PlayStation podcast. This is episode 319. This shows where we share our feelings about the current state of PlayStation. Before we get on with the show, I want to invite you all to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, youtube.com/PS This Is Awesome. You can watch all our prior episodes there. If you want to make fun of our trophy list on the PlayStation Network, you can find me at anchorless_81 and Mr. Jake Peters at JakeSaw01. As always, you can write the show at psthisisawesome@gmail.com. Most importantly, don't forget to share the show with your friends. Be sure to leave comments and rate this podcast as you see fit. As a reminder, it's a video podcast, so you can watch this show on YouTube. Be sure you're subscribed over there. And for new and long-time listeners, we have a Patreon where you can support the show at $1 level. The Patreon tier is called the One and Only $1 Club. Head over to patreon.com/psthisisawesome. You become a $1 patron, get a free die-cut vinyl sticker in the mail, and we'll give you a shout-out on the show. The cool thing about Patreon is it's $1 a month, not $1 a week. So it's not a big ask. And if you listen to our show, we really appreciate that. So with that out of the way, Jake, how are you doing this lovely Monday?
Doing pretty good. I'm not really sure what's up with the weather, but I mean, I'm not going to complain about the sun being out, but it was like a fucking blizzard yesterday.
Yeah,
so
sub 30.
And today it's like almost 50 and sunny, and I think tomorrow and the next day it's going to be in the mid 60s. So I really don't know. I mean, regardless of what your politics are, I think everybody would agree that the weather has been fucked up the past couple years. So I'm not really sure what that's about, but I am genuinely ready for it just to be warm again and to not have to worry about it being cold anymore. I want to be able to like get out there, you know, do some stuff outside, ride my motorcycle, go on trips, whatever. I mean, just to kind of stretch my legs a little bit after being inside or whatever. But other than that, pretty good or reasonably good weekend. We saw Alkaline Trio on Friday. That was cool.
Yeah.
When did you guys leave? Because
right when it was over, right after they played radio.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You guys must have snuck out right before, because I turned around when they were doing their whole like play out thing at the end, and I didn't see you guys, so I assumed that you slipped out. But yeah, it was a good show. I mean, all three bands I thought were pretty good. I mean, Drug Church was great, and Trio they're always good. So I mean, there's really no complaints there.
Yeah.
I mean, even that first band I'd never heard of them before, but they were all right.
Yeah,
so,
the thing about the first band, they're Warriors. That's their name, Warriors. Worry, like you're worrying about something. It's such a fucking hard thing to pronounce. The thing that kills me is like they weren't a bad band. They just sounded like a band, right? There was just nothing memorable about them, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, if we could have just fucking been on stage, like One of My Land. Just give us fucking 25 minutes in front of that crowd. We would just fucking rip it apart. You know what I mean? Like, they were up there, and they just seemed so lackadaisical, and it seemed so kind of like, do they not understand the royalty they're sharing the stage with? Like, fucking Alkaline Trio. Drug Church, by far and wide, is my favorite band that has come out in the last, like, 10 years. They're fucking phenomenal. I don't even know when they became a band. They are so good. And their live set, absolutely probably the tightest, fullest sounding fucking band I've ever heard live in so long. Like way better sounding than the Trio. Like, I'm sorry, but they just were. Like, I love the Alkaline Trio. Their songs are perfect for me. Like, I love that band. I love what they do. They're a punk rock band. They're a fucking three-piece with one backing track. But like fucking Drug Church, every fucking stop, every fucking stutter, and every intentional little riff, perfect. Like, those guys are so fucking dialed in. And their singer has like this fucking charisma about him that I just fucking love. He's just like a positive dude, but he's kind of like fucking sarcastic, and he's also kind of really witty. And then he's got this fucking awesome voice, and he's just fucking got this smirk on his face the whole time he's on stage, and his hand movements, he's like really sporadic. And he just gets the crowd pumped. Like, he is a front man. And
it was that band was interesting. I think the opening band was just a little bit weird because they were a little more. I mean, I thought they were fine, but they were. I felt like they were a little too indie for the bill.
For sure.
Like their shit wasn't as aggressive as the other two bands, so it was kind of a weird way.
And their
to
mix
open,
was really bad.
Right. So, but you know, they had like I was telling Sarah, they had like a 90s girl, like female led rock band kind of vibe to them, almost like a Four Non Blondes or like something like that. Like they had kind of like that vibe a little bit, but like Drug Church, the whole time I was sitting there, I was thinking like for whatever reason, I was like, oh man, that bass player looks like Peyton Manning. And then because he had like just from where we were sitting, he just had this kind of look to him. And then I was just earlier in the day at work, this place I was working at, I was in their break room eating lunch, and they had on the TV, they had American Pickers on, and the lead singer of Drug Church reminded me of like a tatted up version of the tall guy from American Pickers.
Yeah, his hair's a little different, but I see the nose and the skinny face.
But dude, the cool like you said, the way that he engaged the crowd was awesome, and I love how he just like when he basically told everybody to fucking crowd surf to the front, so that, and like basically was putting the security guards up front on the spot. And dude, kudos to them. They took it all in stride. They looked like they were having a good time.
Yeah.
But it was one of those cool things that you see at shows where sometimes they do shit and it hits. Like after that song started, it was just like wave after wave of fucking people like surfing.
It was
to the
so
front
cool,
of the,
man. Yeah, because no one could get to
it was neat.
No one could get to the stage to crowd dive, crowd jump, whatever you fucking call it, crowd surf, like go from the stage back.
Stage diving.
They were bringing people from the back forward. And if you've seen any Drug Church videos of them playing live on YouTube, the entire set is just people jumping up on stage with them and just leaping off, like 30 minutes of it nonstop, and people are just having a blast. Yeah. And like when people are leaping off the stage, their singer has this line. He'll call it like the big guys in the crowd. And he goes, "Listen, you right there. You look like you were a linebacker once. Here's I'm gonna give you one mission, man. I know you're not much of a dancer here. You're waiting to move in a different way. You're waiting for the pit, but while you wait, this next song, we need you to not fucking drop anybody, okay, man?" And he's calling people out. He's like, if someone comes your fucking way, you don't fucking drop them. Nobody gets dropped. And then they just fucking go to the heaviest fucking song. And everyone just bum rushes the stage and just leaps off. And people are just fucking trying to catch them. And it's so fun. Like their energy, their songs are so good. They're irrefutable. They don't have a single bad song. Oh my God, they're fucking fantastic. And I was looking at the whole time, Nate's jaw was just on the fucking floor when they were playing. And I was like, Nate, can you imagine seeing these guys at like in a township building or something? It would be one of the coolest fucking shows because you'd be just right there. It would be insane.
Yeah, it was nuts. I couldn't get enough, dude. I like them. I'm not as big of a fan of them as you are, but like one thing that I do love about them is I think the vocals are cool, and for whatever reason, I love the tone of the lead guitar player. He's got this crazy like it's like if you were to take a band like Hot Water and like smash them with some of the sound of like Typo Negative. Like it's very like Typo Negative has that really like heavy chorus like fucking lead guitar sound that's just very digital and ethereal, and like it just fits really well with their, but obviously Drug Church is way more upbeat and positive and everything, obviously, than a band like Typo Negative.
Stuff.
But like,
yeah, right.
it just reminded me of that. And plus, he was like wearing fucking sweatpants and like bouncing up and down and like
that
had his guitar. Looked like he hadn't showered in 3 days.
Dude,
like it was just kind of a wild scene.
He's a mad scientist. If literally, if you go online and just watch Drug Church on YouTube Live, every live set, he's moving like he's just gone. Like he doesn't even exist to himself. Like he's just in the music. You know what I mean? He's just fucking gone. He's just hopping and he's like just fucking playing the most gnarly riffs. And it's just like that band would not be the band they are without that guy. Like that guy's irreplaceable. And another thing interesting about them, and we'll talk about the trio real quick, is that the singer for Drug Church apparently lives in another country, and the band writes all of these songs and they just call him in and he's like, okay, I'm gonna write some fucking lyrics and parts and melodies and shit for what you guys put together. So like they don't even like, from my understanding, is that they don't really operate as like a band with a singer. Like the band is the band, and I think that's why they're so fucking tight, is because those guys they just fucking do their thing, and then the singer gets up there and works the crowd and makes them songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so interesting. What an interesting way to write. But they are the perfect combination of hard rock, hardcore, punk, fucking their song structures are all tasteful. They don't repeat too much of anything. There's really interesting breaks in every single song. There's really interesting things that never recur in their songs. Their lyrics are witty as shit. They don't take themselves so serious that they can't have a good time. And it's just like they're the perfect fucking band. Like they're so goddamn good. And they seem very low ego also. Like, you know what I mean? They're just like, we're just fucking... Like when he was talking about like, you know, keep the energy up because it's the fucking Alkaline Trio, 30 years of these guys. You know what I mean? Like this is... Everybody likes the trio, so we're not here to hurt people, you know, in the pit, you know. Let's make it a push pit, you know. Let's have some fun. Just fucking repping the Alkaline Trio on their time, on their stage. You know what I mean? It was such a nice thing to see. Just showing that kind of respect, paying that respect to a band that you're on tour with. And then the fucking trio get up there and they just fucking killed it, dude.
Yeah, I do see what you're saying though about like the sound, because Trio is one of those bands that they don't do any stage magic. It's just fucking 3 guys on stage, and the fact that they sound as full as they do with just 3 dudes, I mean, it's pretty amazing. It's kind of like the time I saw ZZ Top live. It's like there are very few bands that can play as a 3-piece
and sound that full
and have a massive sound.
Yeah.
And you know, I think there were a few songs that, you know, you could tell that the
production wasn't quite there, yeah.
Well, it was just a little thin sounding. I don't know if if that necessarily means bad production or whatever, but like, but still, like the fact that, you know, they've been going for what, almost 30 years now, and
their new record is so fucking good.
And the fact that they still, like, both of their vocalists still sound fucking great,
dude. Like, I'll say this: I've seen the Alkaline Trio at least 7 times. That was hands down the best I've ever heard Matt sing at a show. Like,
really,
he was fucking on fire. Like, he was killing it. Yeah. I've never heard him sing that well at a concert. Like, I couldn't believe there were only like 1 or 2 parts where he got a little pitchy when he went really fucking high. But like,
I was shocked. I was shocked, honestly, how well he sounded going from the new stuff to the old stuff. Because a lot of times when you see a band that's been playing for that long, a lot of times their old stuff tends to be in a higher register, or it might be because they could do it, and then as they get older, they drop and stuff. Yeah. And so sometimes when they have to play those older songs, the vocalist can struggle to sing them. And but yeah, I mean, even when he played like a lot of the older shit, like Cringe and stuff, like he sounded good.
He sounded just like the record. It's the best he's ever sounded singing. And his guitar work was on point. Like, he was doing like a lot of different things during some of the older songs too, just improvising a little bit. And like, dude, and Aurora sounded, that's like one of my favorite Alkaline Trio songs. And I just got such a good tempo, and just the vibe of it, the dynamics are so goddamn good. That was one of the first songs I ever heard of theirs, and I've never seen them play it live, and when they fucking pulled that shit out, I did not expect it. And I was just like, I videotaped it. I was like, I'm going to fucking record this shit right now.
Yeah, I'm really glad that they played that, because that's definitely a banger. I mean, the cool thing about that, one of the cool things about that band is that even though they're a punk rock band, like, they have enough, like, underground hits where, like, the crowd really gets into it.
Yeah, when they play, like a deep cut.
Yeah, there were a few songs where the crowd was really getting into it and, like, singing along, dude, and all this shit. And, yeah, Warbrain was wild. Like, I was like, I don't, you know.
What a great set.
This is like a 2-minute long song, and people are, like, really, like, punk song, and people are really getting into it. But, yeah, it was good. I was telling Sarah on the way home, like, I kind of wish they didn't have to play radio.
Yeah, me too.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think they would probably prefer. You could tell by the way that they play it almost, because they change it up a bit.
I feel like they shortened it a little bit.
Right. Well, they play it faster and all of that, and it's kind of like Clapton, like, doesn't want to play Layla anymore, but he has to.
Right.
Like, it's like there are these songs, but yeah, it was a good time, man. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I was so fucking tired. I don't know if you feel this way, but, like, dude, I struggle with shows now because by the time, especially on these weeknights, by the time the main act gets on stage, I am so fucking tired.
Yeah.
That, like, I have to like stay engaged.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And try not to forget everything that's happening.
Dude.
I'm not like sitting there falling asleep or anything.
It really,
I'm just tired.
Yeah, dude, I'll tell you what, it really helps when you want to see the openers. Like, I have been watching and listening to Drug Church now for like 2 fucking years, 2.5, 3 years, and I've never seen them. So to fucking be able to finally see those guys, like, I was charged. Like, I kept telling, like, Nate, I'm just going to fucking Jesus Christ off the balcony during Drug Check. Just like, and just fall on everybody. Like, dude, it would have been so awesome. But I was just so revved for that band, man. And god damn, they're so fucking good. And then this is like, that show was equivalent to, like, when I was younger, when I saw Alkaline Trio and Hot Water tour together. It was like two of my fucking favorite bands. Now, you fucking get Drug Church, Hot Water, and Alkaline Trio on a fucking tour. Fucking gangbusters. Like, I don't even know, like, what the fuck would even happen. Like, the world might implode. Like, you get those fucking 3 bands together, it would be game over. It would just be game over. Like, everyone would be there. Like,
it's really nice being interested or loving bands that are successful, obviously millionaires, but at their peak, they're still playing theaters. And you're not like, dude, because with rare exception, I don't even want to go to a show if it's at a stadium.
No, me either.
Like, to me, it's like, I'm going to pay however many hundreds of dollars to be here, and then I'm going to be freaking 100 yards from the stage.
Yeah, watching a jumbo screen. Like, yeah, that's like, dude, I would kill to see Green Day at a place like the Agora. Like,
right.
Or like, you know, or even something a little smaller and just have a venue cap. Like, okay, we're only letting fucking 700 people in. Like, that would be a fucking experience. You know what I mean? I'm going to go see Hot Water at the House of Blues in June in Cleveland, and I can't fucking wait. They're going to be touring on a new record. Yeah, dude, I'm so stoked on that. So that's the next big show I'm going to.
That's awesome. I didn't even know they were playing.
Yeah, they're playing Cleveland in June, man. You should fucking go.
The House of Blues, you said?
Mm-hmm. Dude, if you've never seen Hot Water Music live, holy fuck. Like,
yeah,
they're probably the only band that sounds better than Drug Church live. Like, just their fucking voices and how tight they are. Oh, God. Their rhythm section, probably the best rhythm section in punk rock. Tied with Rancid.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll have to look into it.
Yeah, you really should, man. All right, well, let's talk about video games. Oh boy, games we're playing. Every episode we talk about games that we're playing. This episode is no different. And I did get some more video gaming in, but surprise, surprise, it's still just Helldivers. I've been having a fun time. Been playing with LJ a little bit. I'm level 18 now. For anyone who is familiar with the original game, they had the Patriot mechs, the mechs that come down that you can get inside and use. Right now, I think unless they stopped it at the end of the weekend, they are making them available to call down for all Helldivers. Any mission, just like I mentioned on the last show, they gave you the incendiary mines as like a learn how to use these kind of thing, an all points bulletin, and it's just like, hey, the Patriot mech is coming. Here's a prototype for everybody to try out, and then you can just call it down. And it's funny because it doesn't come down in like a stratagem. There's like this mini drop ship that comes by. And you can see it hover down above you, and it's holding like this fucking mini mech, and it lets it go, and then it has little boosters. It goes, and it just like sits on the ground, and you hop in it. It's so fucking awesome. It's cool. So yeah, I've been enjoying that, and I hear there's a rumor that like the second tier of war bonds, all the purchasable shit, is going to be unlocked soon. I think on the 14th or something. So there's always updates coming to that game, and goddamn, it's so fun. So yeah. Just leveling up awesome. In Helldivers. How about you?
Oh, I don't know. What was I doing last week? Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I think. So yeah, I've just been playing that. I'm like 24 hours into it. I think is what it's so hard to know because this is one of those games where the in-game time clock is way different than what the PlayStation time clock says, and so like I don't know how much time is ticking by in the in-game clock while I'm paused and all this crap, and so but I will say I really enjoy it. I'm having a really good time with it, and I'm less down on the open world stuff as I was last week, but I do think that it does. If you've got any kind of OCD energy where you're like, I've got to do all of this open world shit before I move on, which I can be that way sometimes, especially if it helps you level up.
Right.
And so there are times where I feel like it just distracts from the main story, and so it kind of ruins the pacing of the game a little bit in that regard. Because the main story so far is really cool, and I love what they're doing with it. I got to the this weekend. I got to the swimsuit section. Oh. And so I just did that whole thing, and it's pretty aggressive. But that said, it's cool. I really enjoy it. I love that there's like you're going to different areas, and they're like themed, and like every area has its own chocobo that has a different ability, and like there's a lot to it. I really like that there's like a relationship system in the game a little bit where you can like build bonds with other characters, and that plays out in the combat with like your partner combat skill. I don't remember what the fuck they call it. But dude, this game, I have never played a single player video game that has more fucking mini games than this game. It's literally just like, I get it that Final Fantasy VII, the original, like that was one of the things that was a standout of the original Final Fantasy VII, was that like between like the motorcycle thing and the gold saucer and all this stuff, like there were mini games, and people were like, oh, that's crazy. And they just like took that to the next fucking level with this game. Like they are everywhere, which is, it's neither here nor there. I kind of wish I didn't. The problem is not that they're there. The problem is that so often they require that you do them. Right. And that I don't really care for. But other than that, I'm really enjoying it. And I'm really curious to see sort of how the game is going to progress from a story perspective. Because there is some gravity going on, and I love the characters in this game so much. What's funny is that you know how you play as Yuffie in the Intergrade DLC for 7 remake. So I just now, probably 21 hours into the game, got her as a playable character.
Ah, jeez.
So she like shows up here and there and is like in and out and is like kind of toying with the party a little bit. And I don't know if you remember in the original game, you have to actually fight her to get her to join your party. And so there's like, they toy with that idea a little bit and stuff. But dude, once you get her, man, she is, dude, all the characters have so many cool abilities. Like I don't know if you remember, she had that ninjutsu ability where you could like throw the weapon and then it would stay on the enemy, and you could just sit there and like do the elemental attacks, and it allows you to keep your distance. Aerith has this cool ability where it's like an aura that she casts on herself, and then whenever she does a basic attack while she's within that aura, it like shoots these additional laser beams out and shit. Like it's just, man, and Tifa is just fucking I don't know, man. It's every character. Honestly, I'm just in Red 13 is so much fun to play. Dude, they're all really good. I just still think the combat's a little chaotic, but I'm really enjoying what's going on. Anyway, we can move on. I'm probably going to be playing this game for probably another 25 hours.
Yeah,
so.
It sounds like you're pretty invested. So that's good that you're not losing interest. In fact, it sounds like it's taken the other route with you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna end up doing all of the side content because it's getting a little bit much, and I'm sure that eventually I'm gonna want to just kind of get through the game. But yeah, I'm invested in getting through it and seeing how they lay the story out because I am really enjoying it so far.
Hell yeah, man! All right, well, we have no listener feedback this time around, and that's fine. It'll just make the show a little shorter. But if you do want to write in, you can write us at psthisisawesome@gmail.com. You can comment on the YouTube videos if that's where you're watching this right now, or you can just go sign up on Patreon and leave us a message over there if you are a patron of the show. But moving in, we're going to talk about news this week and some things that have come up, and there's not really a lot of amazing news or some bummer news, but there is one news point at the very end I'm going to talk about that I can't freaking wait to talk about, and I'm sure by the title of today's episode you got an idea what it's about. But kicking things off, there is a new Contra game coming out on the 12th, Jake, which is tomorrow for us, but yesterday for the listeners who are not subscribed to the show. So we air every Wednesday for free for everybody on YouTube and on all streaming platforms. And if you're a patron of the show, usually you get the podcast on Mondays. We're recording on Mondays, so you'll probably get it a little bit early. But the new Contra game is called Contra Operation Gulaga. And we did talk about this briefly, but PushSquare have a copy of it. And they're saying this is a return to roots Contra. And they've done some things, Konami have done some things to help mitigate the difficulty of your playthrough. They say the story mode is a little short, but that was like one of the minor gripes. But they say it's an 8 out of 10. Great game. It's what people want from a Contra game. And based on this review, and I think a lot of Contra fans probably will feel the same way, that like, why did it take so many fucking years to get a proper Contra game? Like, I don't understand. So I'm kind of excited about this, to be honest. I like this. I like the side-scrolling shooting games. So we'll see. We'll see what the rest of the reviews say about this game. Jake, anything about Contra Operation Gulaga?
I mean, it looks cool. It's kind of a bummer that it's 2.5D, but they probably wouldn't have been able to get it funded if they had to do like a fully fleshed out pixel art game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad that it's fun. I mean, Contra was never really my jam, so I always appreciated it, but it could be just because it was hard, but I was never a big arcade shooter fan, whether it be Contra or like the top-down like airplane shooters and shit like that. Like that type of stuff never really... Like, I always thought like occasionally they were fun to play and stuff, but it was never something that I was going to sit down and play and, you know, try to master or anything like that. The closest I ever got to it was like what was that game that was like a Metal Slug clone, Mercenary Kings.
Oh yeah, right.
So I played that for a while, but it's a little bit more involved. Like you have actually like you're buying stuff and they're level. Like it's a little bit more a little bit less arcadey, I guess I should say.
Right.
But I'm glad that people are getting a Contra game that they seem to love. I mean, it looks pretty classic.
Yeah, we'll find out. I think the price point will be a decider for me whether or not to pick it up right away. We'll see. I'm guessing maybe $30, but it could be way more.
Does it not have a price point yet?
I didn't check. I don't know. It's not on the store yet, so maybe you could pre-order. I have no idea. I didn't check.
It comes out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is weird because I'm on Steam right now, and even Steam doesn't have a price for it. I think now that I say that, I'm pretty sure that not every game can be put up for pre-order.
Yeah.
I think you have to be approved by the platform holder to have a pre-order page. So that might be why it's not on there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
All right, well, moving on to the next point here. This is the bummer news, and really kind of tragic because we got absolutely nothing from this studio, but Deviation Games, Sony first-party studio, has been shut down. The studio haven't even released a game yet. They were founded in 2021, so they've been a studio for 3 years, maybe tops 3 years. So whatever they were working on, Sony shuttered it. They're like, nope.
So just to be clear, Deviation I don't believe is a first-party studio.
Are you sure?
They were just partnering with them for whatever this game was.
I gotta look this up.
I'm pretty sure that I'm right. I'm thinking that they just shut themselves. Like I don't think that Sony was involved.
I will stand corrected, but yeah, I want to see Deviation
because they were working on something, and I think that like Sony might have backed out because they didn't think that it was worthwhile. Kind of like with the Knights of the Old Republic thing. I could be wrong about this, but I don't know that I don't think Sony owns them. Because it was Haven and Deviation came out at the same time, and
it was founded by Treyarch developers.
Yeah, I think Sony partnered with both of them, but they only bought Haven.
Maybe you are right. Maybe I was thinking. Hold on, but they do mention Haven and Firewalk here. Hold on.
Which are both Sony first-party studios. But Deviation, I do not believe is.
No, they just received funding from Sony for a live service game. So they weren't purchased. They just got funding from Sony. So yeah, very good.
And I'm sure when Hiroki Totoki came out, and it seems like they were backing off on this live service plan, that maybe the money they were giving to Deviation kind of got pulled, and that might have killed that studio, which is unfortunate, but maybe it wasn't good. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, dude.
But you never like to see a studio close. I mean, that's a bummer, especially before you get a chance to see what they're really made of.
Well, that's just it. Like we don't get anything. It's just like, okay, well, Sony threw some money at a wall, didn't like what happened. They shut it down before it got out of control, it sounds like. Or they shut down. I wonder if there was too much pressure from Sony for them or something, or if Sony was going to just like pull out of the agreement or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Obviously money was going to run dry with what they had planned. So that's usually what causes these kind of things. All right. Anyways, Moving forward, the next one is interesting. I forgot all about this game. There was that game called MultiVersus that was out briefly for quite a while. People got really into it, and like it kind of had some steam. It was early access, and people were playing the shit out of it. And then they're like, nope, MultiVersus is done. And everyone was upset because they had purchased in-game shit for this game. And they're like, we're pulling it off. The servers are done. We're going to go back and tweak this game. It's now been a year since it's been off the shelf, and it's being re-released here on May 28th. So we'll see if that was a smart play or not for them. I don't know.
What I want to know, did they say if the people that purchase stuff, if they still have that stuff whenever they rebuy the game?
I think it's presumed that they will.
Okay. Well, I would hope that the people that... Or wait a second. it was never available for purchase before, right? It was free.
The game was free, but there was
content.
in-game purchases. Yeah.
So now the people will have to buy the game
to access
have
the
access to the shit that they purchased. Okay, that kind of sucks, but at least they're not making them pay for the game twice, I guess. So, I mean, that's cool. It seemed like people were really digging it.
Yeah,
so I don't
brother
know.
loved
I mean,
it.
hopefully it's good.
Mm-hmm. My brother loved it. All right, move on to the next one. That was just a little blurb, a little follow-up. This next one's a really weird thing that happened, Jake, and I didn't even recognize that this happened until I was preparing notes for the show here today. In a strange situation, the demo for the hotly anticipated Stellar Blade was released prematurely. So a lot of gamers downloaded this demo and were able to play the first hour of the game before the studio ever intended it to be played. And Sony has since patched the demo, so now anyone who had downloaded it, it precludes you from being able to access and play the content until they're ready to actually release it. But if you had it installed and you didn't get back on the internet, you have a playable version of the demo for Stellar Blade before anybody else. So, interesting. And yeah, I think there's probably YouTube videos up for sure of people playing the first hour because there was no NDA or anything. You know what I mean? So, people thought they got the demo for it. You know what I mean? Just fucking streaming that shit and stuff. So it's out. But interesting.
Dude, I'll be honest with you. Like, I mean, this is an interesting story or whatever, but what's more interesting to me is that I love that the demo is making a comeback. Like, it was gone for a long time. Like, we didn't get demos for anything.
Yeah.
And now, dude, I think it's more of a Japanese thing.
The Unicorn
like, it seems
Overlord
like Japanese,
demo? Yeah.
Like, it seems like these Japanese studios are doing it more than, I guess, maybe Western studios. But, like,
right.
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where would I play this demo? I don't know. I mean, I didn't play the Final Fantasy VII Remake or Rebirth demo, but then again, I already knew I was going to play it. So, like, I didn't really necessarily need to. But would I play this one? I mean, I'm excited for Stellar Blade, so they haven't announced this demo yet, have they?
Not anything. No. It just showed up. People download the shit out of it.
It is funny though that I wonder if this has been precedented before, where Sony has had to go in and patch something so that you can't play it. I'm sure it's happened, but I wonder like under what context it has happened.
Yeah, that's really
past. I'm not really
weird.
sure, but I think like if they announce this demo and your saves can carry over or whatever, like I might give it a shot. Just because I'm excited for this game, to be completely honest.
Yeah, no, it looks good, dude. I don't know anything about it except for what we've seen. Obviously, I know you're more stoked on it than I am, but that's a cool little thing that happened. And then making another appearance in PlayStation News this past week is our good friend Shawn Layden, former PlayStation boss, head honcho, exec guy. He was making a bold statement, and I gotta admit, I kind of think he's on to something here. And it's not rocket science. So he says, quote, "When your costs for a game exceed $200 million, exclusivity is your Achilles heel." And then he goes on to say, it reduces your addressable market. And then he goes on to say, you have to improve your odds by cracking that funnel open. And I think that he's saying that like a lot of these major blockbusters could be so much larger if the industry wasn't so fucking concerned about exclusivity. Like the games themselves would be even larger. Now, would that hurt the companies that have exclusive access to them? Maybe. But like,
I wonder
for the game's sake.
I mean, yeah, I think that he's not wrong generally about this. I think that the only company that this really is a factor for is Microsoft.
Yeah.
Because and I'm not trying to play sides in a console war or anything like that, but Nintendo has over 100 million Nintendo Switches out there, and the attach rate for Nintendo first party games is through the roof, so they don't need to fucking go anywhere other than exclusive. And Sony, they're attach rate for their games is high as well, and they're by far the, let's say, the high fidelity console leader. And now that they're starting to put their shit on PC, I mean, dude, how many copies are they gonna sell? I mean, they might sell quite a few copies on Xbox because it wouldn't be on Game Pass, but I don't know. It's very interesting. I just don't think that Sony has anything to gain from doing it right now. Xbox has everything to gain from doing it. And now, would I be upset if Sony was like, honestly, dude, Helldivers, they should fucking put that on Xbox. To be completely honest with you, I think that it would be. I mean,
it would be fucking
have a short
bonkers.
Have a short, obviously a short exclusivity window on Sony's platform is great. But a game like that lives and breathes by its multiplayer database. And if you can just add, like, dude, I bet if they put it on Xbox, they probably would snag up another 500,000 players easy. Maybe even more than that. Just people on Xbox wanting to get on the zeitgeist with the game right now. And
it's not slowing down either, just so you know.
I think
the numbers are ridiculous.
Yeah. And I think that Sony is a little bit too proud as a Japanese company to put... Now, this might have nothing to do with their Japaneseness, but to put like their major tentpole games on another console, like you think about something like God of War, right? I don't know that they would do that just for sheer like optics reasons. I could definitely see them. I could see them putting Spider-Man on Xbox before God of War or The Last of Us, because Spider-Man. I mean, we found out in that leak, that Insomniac leak, that like Sony owes so much money to Disney just for the license for that game that it kind of would make sense if they wanted to, snag a little bit more of the market just to pay off that licensing fee.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm getting a little bit more in the weeds as far as what Shawn Layden's statements are here. He's being a little bit more broad about the things that he's saying, but I do think that Phil Spencer came out, and I think this was more of a defensive statement because of what the company was forcing him into. But he did come out and say that he thinks that exclusivity is going to be the way of the dodo in the future, to paraphrase. You know what I mean? He thinks that there's going to be fewer and fewer exclusive games going forward. And I think that Shawn Layden is just kind of echoing that statement here. And I think that they're both probably not wrong.
Right.
I just don't know. Like, what does that first game look like?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
You know what I mean? Obviously, Sony was forced into it with MLB The Show. But that's like a sports game. And no offense to MLB The Show, but like, that's not, the core gamer is not playing MLB The Show. I mean, some of them are, right? But the market for sports games is more of a broad market anyway. And so it's not like, who's your favorite video game protagonist of all time? It's not fucking Shohei Ohtani on MLB The Show. It's like, my favorite video game protagonist of all time is Nathan Drake.
Right.
And so it's like, and I love him because I love Sony or it's like part of the same package. And then so to see, your boy on another platform is going to hit a little bit closer to home. So I don't know. I mean, it's probably what some sports fans think whenever they're like a franchise player, decides to jump ship and go play for a better team or something.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Yeah.
I can feel that a little bit. I mean, it doesn't make sense from a business perspective.
Well, the thing of it is, for the sake of the player, right? You're talking about that, like for the sake of the actual baseball player or whomever, it gets traded or is on different teams or whatever, like it benefits them because they're making more money usually. And for the sake of the actual property and the title, the God of War, Last of Us, whatever, Uncharted, like that property now becomes a bigger fucking to-do than what it would have been otherwise. So it is what it is. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Hold on, I gotta put the dog up here real quick on the. Come on, Baba. Come here. Ready?
Yeah,
Come here. One.
I don't know, man. I know I've been kind of talking a bit on the subject or whatever, but I feel like there's been a lot of hot air coming out of Microsoft over the last 5 years, but I do think that Shawn Layden and Phil Spencer and these guys, they do have something on the line of like, I think that as these games, like, do games need to cost $200 million? No.
Right.
Final Fantasy fucking Rebirth does not need to be 60 hours long. It can be fucking 20 hours long, maybe cut $50 million off that budget and have a little bit more wiggle room. Does The Last of Us Part 2 need to be over 30 hours long? No. That game was way too fucking long. And don't get me wrong, I mean, it's a masterpiece, but I just think that if we're gonna expect that these games be huge and high budget and everything, you need to be okay with the possibility of them shipping on other platforms. And as I've gotten older and I've gotten a little bit more zen with the way things are in the world, I've become less bothered by the idea of this stuff kind of going to other platforms. You know what I mean? I mean, if as long as it doesn't take away my PlayStation and as long as I can still choose to play the game where I like to play it and get my trophies and all of this stuff, like, if Xbox players could play, you know, Drake's Fortune and love it and cause a resurgence, which would then make another Uncharted game, like, that kind of sounds kind of cool to me. You know, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to, you know, paint a bullseye on myself or anything, but like, I think that it's a little bit overblown, you know.
That's fair, man. Thing. Nah, I hear you. That's fair. All right, well, let's move on. You talked briefly about Spider-Man there when we were just having a conversation about the licensing fees and whatnot. Well, an attempt to get people interested in Spider-Man 2 again. For those who are waiting, the New Game Plus mode for Spider-Man 2, your wait is now over. It's out now. So it's a game I'm not going back to. Sorry, but just for those who love the game or maybe haven't played it yet, maybe now's the time to jump in. So you get New Game Plus and some other modes, I think, some other stuff they're also providing. So moving forward, unless you had something to say about that, Jake.
I'm trying to find. So, do you know, like, what were the Venom-looking bad guys?
I can't remember.
So do you know what I'm talking about? How like there's like a bunch of them. It like becomes an infection kind of thing at the end of the game.
Yeah.
So no spoilers. The symbiote bad guys. There are these enemies in Final Fantasy VII that when they popped up, I was like, are those the fucking bad guys from Spider-Man 2?
Yeah.
And it's not. It's that like they just happen to be so similar. It's very strange.
That's funny.
But I don't really have anything else to say other than, yeah, I'm with you. I love Spider-Man 2, but that's one of those games where it's like, when I'm done, I'm done. I platinumed the game. I'll wait till Spider-Man 3 comes out. I'm not gonna jump back in, and unless I like get a bug at some point to like go swinging around. And the game is fun to play, but there's just too much other shit going on.
I agree. Moving on, Valiant Hearts 2. We talked about this, Jake, and how it was coming to PlayStation after its, I guess its exclusivity stay on Netflix. It's called Coming Home, and there's a trailer for it. And man, you watch this trailer, it makes me want to play it.
Valiant Hearts 2.
Yeah, it makes me want to play it really bad. I've been watching Masters of the Air, which is World War II, about B-17 Squadron. Spielberg and Hanks directed that, and it's on Apple TV. So I'm like already in the mindset of like the trouble of war. You know what I mean? In these old wars. So like, this just looks really good. Might be the right time for me. It's probably not very long to play. And I don't know what it retails at, but it is now available, so that's nice. The wait is over for that.
I wonder.
Go ahead.
I wonder how well this would play. Like on, it seems like it's something that would play okay on like a phone, even. You know what I mean? Like, the only reason why I even say that is not that I like to play games on my phone, but like this seems like the type of game that I would probably want to play a little bit at a time before bed or something.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not really a game that I might necessarily want to sit at my television and play.
I don't remember the first one being very gamey, honestly. It's
Yeah,
more story-ish.
It's kind of adventure-y
Yeah.
in the classic sense, I guess I could say.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
it's cool. I mean, I'm glad they made another one because the first one was great.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And then this next news point is really bizarre, fitting for the title of the game. Stalker, all the original Stalker games, 1, 2, and 3, which released in 07, 08, and 09, are now available out of nowhere, shadow dropped. They're available on PS4 and PS5. And so it looks like the Stalker has been stalking very secretly the PlayStation
Stalker
Network.
Legends, I guess that's what it's called.
Yeah,
right?
there's a trilogy that you can get all 3 games for reduced cost, or they still have the option to buy them individually at a little bit higher per game.
And just to be clear, it's Stalker, Clear Skies, and Call of Pripyat. Because you said Stalker 1, 2, and 3, and the new game is actually called Stalker 2. So
Right, it's the Stalker
I just want to be clear
games.
about that.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is referring to the original
The OG.
threesome, because I think Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl was the original, and then Clear Skies was like the expansion, and then or like the 1.5 version of the game, and then there was a Call of Pripyat, which was like the second game.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't know if it's like a spin-off or something, because there is like the new game is called Stalker 2.
Right.
And from what I understand, I mean, I played a little bit of the original Stalker on PC when it came out, but I didn't have a very good PC at the time, so like I didn't really get into it because I couldn't really play it. But I've heard great things about these games. So, and it's very European in flavor. Like it's made by that GSC Game World from Ukraine. They were the ones that had to basically leave the country because the fucking Russian invasion.
Yeah.
And we weren't sure if we were ever going to get Stalker 2, but it looks like it is still on par to come out this year. So
Didn't a developer or something from the Stalker game get killed? The founder or somebody?
It wouldn't surprise me. I
believe they went to
it's
war.
fucked up.
They went to fight the Russians, and they died in battle, I think.
Yeah. That really sucks.
Stalker.
So, I mean, if you're interested in Stalker 2 at all, I think it's only a 3-month exclusivity on Xbox, which means that I think it's coming out in September on Xbox, so which means we might have it as early as December on PS5. So if you're interested in this world at all, maybe check these out, because from what I understand, they're pretty good. So
yeah, just
have a go.
Follow up on that. Yeah, Vladimir Yeshov was a Ukrainian video game developer who was on the Stalker game, and he did help thwart the Russian invasion. He was killed December 22nd, 2022. That's so fucking sad, man. What a fucked up thing to happen. He was younger than me. He was born in 84. So your age, maybe, Jake.
That's crazy. I mean, he's older. He's between us. I was born in 87. So
okay. So he must have been like 39 when he died. That's so sad. I guess his nickname was Fresh. So another tip of the cap to that fella for fucking paying the ultimate goddamn price.
Yeah, shouldn't even have to do it, but
yeah, no shit. It sucks.
Do what you gotta do.
Anyhow, if you're interested in those games, they are now out. And then lastly, the fucking walls were blown back here when I saw this fucking news point. Darkest Dungeon 2 rated for a release on PS5 and PS4. I'm fucking losing my goddamn mind right now. Like, when is this coming out? There's a nice little trailer, not for the PS5 version or whatever. There's just a trailer about one more add-on, I think, that's coming for Darkest Dungeon 2. This game has been out on Steam for quite some time. The developers have been fucking pushing it hard. People are loving the shit out of it. I guess it's a little more streamlined. It's not so much as a dungeon. It's more of a travel game where I believe you're almost like on a Conestoga wagon trying to get somewhere. And it's still procedural, and it's fucking interesting as shit. Oh, Jesus. And Wayne Jude, I think is his name, is the narrator still. It's just so fucking gothic and dark and just perfect. Like, I can't wait for this fucking game to come out, dude. I never beat the first Darkest Dungeon. It was way too goddamn hard. I got so close to the end, and then I just couldn't cobble it together. All my good heroes died on a really bad mission, and of course it autosaves and shit. So it was like, I can't. You can't, because you're kind of on a
timer. I love the aesthetic of this game and a lot of what's going on with it, but dude, I'm telling you right now, the first time that happened to me, where I died and like had to start over,
party wipe.
Like, I'd rage quit. I'd be done. I can't do it anymore. I can't feel like I'm wasting my time in games. I know that everyone's like, you're not wasting. It's like fucking the thing with roguelikes. It's like, you're not wasting your time. You're getting better, and not for me. So
I'm with you on that. But this game, it literally checks every box for me so badly that like I really don't give a fuck. Like,
that's awesome. I'm so glad. And maybe if I played it, I would actually be really into it. It's just not something I've ever been willing to spend money on, because I'm more than 50% positive that I would end up prematurely quitting this game, just based on the way that
I quit the first one.
Game is, made. But I mean, how you got a lot of hours out of it.
Dude.
So it's not like you played it for 2 hours and quit. It was
fucking. And it made it almost worse, because like I got to like a point where I was just like, I have made so many bad decisions with my town, handling my peoples, like, putting efforts into the wrong shit, that like, to successfully get through this, I'm gonna have to fucking like just start brand new. And it's such a good goddamn game though. I bought it on my Mac for Steam because it was the only game available on Mac that I really wanted. And then when it came out on PS5, I picked it up on PS5. And God, I bought it twice. I like it so much. It's so good.
God, it looks so cool. I'm just like watching video of it. Like the game, like the aesthetic of this game is so fucking cool.
The fucking voiceover shit matched with the music, matched with the aesthetic, matched with like the gameplay. It's bar none top 5 games in the last 10 years for me. The first game, Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah.
I ate it. I ate it right up. Consumed the shit out of it.
Well, pretty soon here, it looks like you might have a second go.
Yeah. I read this news article. My eyes almost started bleeding. I was just ready. I was like, just fucking give it to me now. Take my soul. Take my soul and all my time. I need this. All right. Every episode we talk about new games coming out on the PlayStation Network. This episode is no different. New games coming out March 12th. We already talked about this one. Contra Operation Gulaga. Cybertrash STATYX. We're getting Little Cities Bigger. I fucking hate that name. PSVR 2. We're getting Melatonin on PS5. March 13th. Llamasoft. The Jeff Minter story. Hate that name. Violet Wisteria. That's not a bad name. March 14th. Cartel Tycoon. Crown Wars, The Black Prince Wars. Why are they saying wars twice? Probably because they couldn't call it The Black Prince. I don't know. Crown Wars, The Black Prince Wars. It just sounds bad. It's too redundant. Dungeon Drafters.
There's no way a fucking native English speaker made this game.
I don't know.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, it's so stupid. It's one of the dumbest titles I've ever seen in my life.
Sorry, continue.
Dungeon Drafters sounds kind of cool, actually. High Water. Pound, like LB. Paint the Town Red VR. Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection. March 15th, Outcast, A New Beginning. Or is that Outlast? Is that supposed to be Outlast?
No, I think it's Outcast. There was a game called Outcast.
Okay.
From a while ago. It's probably a new one.
PJ Masks Power Heroes Mighty Alliance. And then the last one is What the Golf?
So the studio that is making that game is called Artifacts, and they are based in France. So that might explain why they use the word wars twice.
And apparently the singer for Phoenix did the soundtrack.
Wait, seriously?
No.
That'd be awesome if it was.
I could hear him go, Crown Wars, the Black Prince Wars. Singing some techno shit. And it just being the catchiest thing you've ever heard in your life. Yeah, so those are the games. Jake, we're going to wrap this podcast up earlier than most times. I'm always up super late after we record, getting the shit all uploaded for everybody and getting it fucking compressed and whatever the word is, compiled. It takes some fucking time. So I'm happy to end the podcast now. I've got nothing else to say for an outro except for thanks for tuning into the episode. Jake, do you have anything you'd like to say before we close out?
To be completely honest with you, this Crown Wars game does look kind of interesting. It's like a tactical RPG, kind of like I don't know that it's something that I would play, but it does look kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. Now that we've been shitting on it,
I'm just shitting on the name. I don't know anything about the game.
Shitting on the name. That's true. Apologies, Artifacts French studio. Other than that, no, I don't know. I'm gonna go make some dinner and veg out, I think, rest of the day.
It'd be like if we called our podcast like a podcast about PlayStation. PS, this is awesome. A PlayStation podcast. Like, you're redundant. Like, don't use the word twice.
No, it's more like if it was like PS, this is awesome. Video games are awesome. Like it's just like what are you talking about? I mean, obviously,
it just seems unnecessary is all. I don't know. Yeah, there's something about that game title that just kind of gets under my skin. All right, that's it. You don't have anything?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, cool. Well, like I said, we air every Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in again to PS is Awesome, a PlayStation podcast, episode 319. We'll be back next week. Think about maybe joining the old Patreon. It's $1 a month for all of our time and effort to deliver you an awesome podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't hesitate to write in. We don't bite. We're only assholes once in a while. So, that being said, like Back to Bed, Balin Wonderworld, and Beat the Beats. P.S. This is awesome.
This is awesome.